welcome to a brand new episode of the Fit Women's Weekly Podcast. I hope that you're having a fantastic week, that your training's going well, because we are officially halfway through the month of January. And I know we keep kind of going back to this idea of New Year's resolutions and hitting your New Year's goals. I just do not want you to cut yourself off, right? I want you to see through your goals. If you set goals, are you working towards them? Have you even started? If the answer is yes and you are hitting the ground running, congratulations, keep going. I know that staying consistent with an idea and to stay motivated is really, really hard. At the beginning of a year, we're so motivated, right? Because it's fresh. It's like, yes, I'm going to get this done. And then one workout in, two workouts in, or whatever your nutrition goals might be, our motivation starts to fall a little bit lower and lower, because the truth of the matter is motivation gets us started, but it doesn't keep us going. You're going to have more days than not where you're not motivated. To be honest, I'm not motivated most days that I work out, but I do it because I'm disciplined and I know that it makes me feel good, and that when it's over, I'll feel really proud of myself. And I know that in the long run, I'm healthier and I'm happier because of it. So hopefully you are still going strong. If you are not, ask yourself what you can do to kind of get that spark of motivation going again, to at least get you going. And then it comes down to discipline. How bad do you really want what goals it is that you are after? And if you haven't gotten started yet, then what is something that you can do this week, just one tiny action that can help you get started in the right path? Maybe you need to go ahead and set up just a plan. Like, sit down. You don't have to physically do anything, but sit down and say, here's what my goals are. What's my plan of attack? Because just saying your goals out loud, that's a dream, but actually working on those goals, that's what's actually going to make them come real, right? And not just a pipe dream. So go ahead, plan things out, map it out, and get rocking and rolling. And then if you didn't set goals for the year, that's fine too. No big deal. All right, so that's your little tough love, personal trainer tough love to get you started. But in today's episode, I want to talk about the 5 worst pieces of training advice that I have heard personal trainers give clients. And if at any time you have had a personal trainer, or if a personal trainer that you're currently working with has told you any of these, then it might be time to question if they're the right trainer for you or not. And it's really sad, because there are some really great trainers out there, but there's some really bad ones too, just like in any profession, right? And I want to make sure that you're getting the training that you deserve and getting the accountability and the support that you deserve to get you to where you want to go. So number 1, we're just going to roll right into this. Well, I say that, but of course, as always, if you are not subscribed to the podcast, please go ahead and do that. Hit that subscribe button. I put out brand new podcasts every single week, and I love to hear from you guys too. So if you're a subscriber and you have a question that you would like answered in a future episode, never hold back. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can ask your questions down below. I do reply to every single comment. Or if you're listening to this on whatever podcast platform it is that you're tuning into, then you can send me an email, kindle@fitwomensweekly.com. Or you can slide into my DMs, which is Kindal Boyle Fitness. All right, guys, now let's jump into the top 5 worst pieces of advice that I have ever heard a personal trainer give. Number 1, that the only way that you should be working out is the way that they work out. Now, of course, we know that you should be strength training and you should be doing cardio, but there are so many different types of fitness, and we're all coming from different backgrounds, different fitness histories. We might all have different injuries and different goals in general. And so to say that one type of training is the only way that you should be working out, that is bogus. And for anyone to say that somebody else's form of fitness is crap is also bogus. Now, do I want to do every type of fitness? Are you going to see me showing up to a Pilates class or doing bar or even doing a lot of yoga classes? No, because that's just not me. But is that saying, or I'm just going to throw out some other examples, something like Barry's Boot Camp, for example, or 9 rounds. Does 9 rounds still exist? Something like that, right? Everyone's going to have an idea or a opinion about it. But at the end of the day, movement is a good thing. And so whether I believe that that is the best type of training or not, it might not be the best type of training for me, but if it's getting you out the door regularly, getting your heart rate up, making you work hard, building your endorphins, and it physically makes you feel good and mentally makes you feel good, then that's the right type of fitness for you. So don't let anybody discredit if you are showing up and you are working out and you're able to consistently knock out a routine with whatever form of fitness that is, then keep it going. And for a lot of people, getting started in some sort of like group fitness thing, whether it be something like 9 rounds or a Pilates class, that can a lot of times open the door for other types of fitness down the road that maybe I do align more with, right? Where maybe with Pilates, that's your intro to fitness. And then you're like, man, this is really cool. Now I want to continue to do that because Pilates, you guys, does have a spot. I am not putting Pilates down at all. It is great for mobility, for joint health, for lower intensity strength training, right? But maybe as you start to build up your fitness confidence, then you go, I want to continue to do this, but I'm also going to start dabbling into picking up heavy weights, right? And then maybe with dumbbells, all of a sudden you start going like, man, I really like this. What happens if I start learning how to do Olympic lifting with barbells or whatever? So one thing can lead to the next. It's not just so black and white. So if someone tells you that the way that you work out is crap, then I would definitely wonder what their true intentions are and how much they actually know. Tip number 2, when it comes to bad pieces of advice, you need to lose weight first through cardio and then add in strength training to tone your muscles. I have heard this before, especially in my younger years when I was like a teenager or in my early 20s, was this idea that you had to burn weight, blah, 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 blah. Was this idea that you had to lose weight first through cardio and through your diet. And then once you lost the weight that you wanted to, then it was time to add in your strength training in order to increase your muscle mass and to get toner, right? I think that this idea came from a couple of different places. One, that we thought that cardio was a way to lose weight, and that if you were to start adding strength training, that would slow your progress down because it doesn't burn as many calories as cardio does, which is true and is not true. And I'll talk about that in just a second. I think also part of it is confidence, that people felt like you needed to lose weight in order to kind of gain a space in a weight room, right? To be able to feel like I deserve to be here. And then I think there was also this idea that muscle weighs more than fat, so that you're afraid that if weight loss was all that you're after, it's just weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, people were scared that by adding in strength training, they weren't going to see that weight loss happen. I'm glad that this is not the case, but I still do hear people actually say this. I heard personal trainers say it a long, long, long time ago. I don't hear that as much anymore. If you do, run away very, very quickly. However, I do still hear people tell me this. And again, I think it's part of more of a confidence issue of saying like, hey, I'm going to lose some weight and then I'm going to come talk to you. No. Doing both hand in hand, but doing both simultaneously is what you need to do if weight loss is your goal. Because remember, it's not just the number on the scale. It's not that we want to lose weight. We want to lose body fat. And I talked a lot about this last week when I walked through all the 6 steps that I would take if I was trying to lose 5 to 10 pounds of body fat. So definitely go check that video out. But cardio and diet is going to help you burn weight, okay? I'm not going to say burn fat, burn weight. Strength training, when done concurrently at the same time, is going to tell your body what kind of weight to burn, which is we're going to focus more on burning our body fat versus our muscle, because it's telling our body, I'm still using my muscles. I need to keep this where it is. Do not burn me. Keep me where I am. Keep me nice and happy. So we're going to talk about some pros and cons real fast, okay? So let me rewind for a second before I get ahead of myself. When it comes to cardio, yes, you are burning a lot of calories during cardio. However, cardio can be kind of intense, and with any type of progress when it comes to our fitness called progression overload, you have to push yourself longer or harder in order to see the same kind of results that you expect to get. So let's take running, for example. If you start running 1 mile every day, I don't know. At the start of that, you might burn 100 to 200 calories in that mile. But as your body becomes adjusted to it, it's not working as hard to get you through that mile. So all of a sudden, instead of burning that 100 to 200, maybe you're burning 75 to 125 calories per time. And then that continues to decrease. So in order to continue to burn the amount of calories that you want, you have to move faster or move longer, which with just cardio alone can be really hard. And the longer that you go with cardio, generally if you're pushing it for over an hour, that's going to have a really big effect on your hunger hormones as well. So that's why the following day you might be ravenous. And if you're trying to lose weight, that makes it really hard to stay in a deficit. That's why a lot of people, when they're training for a marathon, actually end up gaining weight because they overestimate how many calories that they are actually burning in their workouts, and they end up overeating because of that. And so it's a lot easier if we're trying to lose weight to manage our cardio to more realistic expectations of 60 minutes or lower during our sessions, focus on moving our body more throughout the day. Again, we talked about this last week, and adding strength training in. So with strength training during the actual workout itself, no, you're not going to burn the same amount of calories as you would in 60 minutes of cardio and 60 minutes of strength training. However, with strength training, you're putting a lot of stress on the muscles, right? We've talked about this before, that when you're strength training, you're adding micro tears to the muscles. It's while those muscles are repairing themselves that it rebuilds your muscles to make them bigger, to make them more toned. And during that recovery process, your metabolic needs are very high. So you're actually burning calories during that recovery of anywhere between 24 to 48 hours post strength training. So again, while you might not be burning the same amount of calories during the actual workout, you are going to have a heightened metabolic rate for longer than you would with cardio. Your body recovers pretty fast after a steady state cardio session, but with strength training, it takes some time. So they even out. And so if you are trying to see results with your body, your personal trainer should be telling you to do both cardio exercise and strength training. And if you feel like you don't deserve to be in the strength training room, then start just by adding small little sessions. If you go to a gym, just start with doing like push-ups in the side room, or take some dumbbells. That's how I started. When I first started my own fitness journey, I would just take some dumbbells into like the little aerobic room to the side when it wasn't being used, and I would build my confidence that way until finally I was comfortable enough to get outside. Now, I will tell you this. People are not judging you. They are just proud of you for being there and showing up too. So a lot of times the fears that we put into our own head are simply that, fears we put into our own head. No one's judging you, but I do know it's easier said than done to just say, so don't even think about it. So start doing little things inside the gym to just slowly build up your confidence to be able to get yourself into the weight room and off of that treadmill space, where for a lot of us, the treadmill is like the safety zone, right? You're in this little almost cage where no one can get in your way, no one can bother you. You can zone out and just do your own thing. But when you're in a weighted area with weights all around you, it can be a little bit harder because you are going around different people, you're grabbing different things here and there. So I do get it. And maybe it's also worth looking into something to do at home, something like Fit Women's Weekly Live, for example, where you don't have to leave the convenience of your own home. You can work out in your pajamas if you want to, but you're still going to be able to get a great workout and get pushed the way that you deserve to be able to get results. So that was bad advice number 2. Bad advice number 3. No pain, no gain. Now, trust me, I love being sore after a workout just as much as anybody else. However, you shouldn't be sore to the point where you have a hard time moving after every single workout. Being sore, or what's called DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, is totally normal, especially when you're starting a new program, right? Your body's kind of going, oh my God, what are you doing? But if you're continuously sore from one workout to the next, one, you're not giving your body proper time to recover. And remember, recovery is when we're actually going to get the results that we want. And you are putting yourself up at risk of injury and risk of overtraining. You do not have to be sore after every workout to have a good workout. But you do want to make sure that you are pushing yourself, progressive overload, that you are actually pushing yourself from one workout to the next, but that doesn't mean that you are going to be super sore. And if you are, that's most likely meaning that you are doing too much too soon. And when you do that, you're putting yourself at risk of burning out, and you're going to tire yourself out, you're going to lose motivation, and you're going to give up. So if you have a trainer that's like, no pain, no gain, let's go, we're not in the military. Walk away. Make sure that the fitness that you're doing is providing you what you want. And for most of us, especially people around my age, I'm 40 years old. I don't want to be aching every single morning when I wake up because of the workout that I did. I want my workouts to add to my life, to make me feel better, not to drag me down. So maybe just take a look back and remind yourself you're not who you were 6 months ago if it's been a hiatus, and that you need to slowly progress into your training. You're going to set yourself up for a lot more longevity. That way, you're going to lower your risk of injury, and you're going to stay motivated because you're not looking at it as like, oh my God, why do I want to do this when tomorrow I'm not going to be able to sit on the toilet? So forget the no pain, no gain. Bad take number 4 is you should work out at a lower intensity if you want to burn more body fat, aka this whole body fat zone. Yes, I've heard lots of personal trainers say this as well, and there is some actual truth to it. If you're doing like a lower intensity cardio workout where you can still easily carry on a conversation, for example, then chances are you're in that quote unquote fat burning zone. Though for most people, that fat burning zone is really hard to stay in with cardio because you'll find yourself moving so slow. It really is a lower part of your heart rate. And so at the end of that workout, yes, a more percentage of the calories that you burned are going to be body fat. However, it's going to be a lot harder to actually improve your physical fitness, and it takes longer for your sessions. Whereas if you were just to push harder, you're going to burn overall more calories. And because you're burning more calories, you're going to be burning the same, or if not more, of body fat because of how the percentages play out. So if you're always trying to stay in that body fat burning zone, throw it out the window, because we do want to still be able to increase the intensity for our mental health, right? Pushing hard is really great for getting that endorphin run, boosting up our serotonin and helping with mental clarity as well. Plus, you're going to help yourself burn more, build more muscle, improve your overall fitness, your cardio, your aerobic capacity. So don't always try to keep things on the lower side. It does have a place. I would not be against doing that 1 to 2 days a week, but still make sure a couple of workouts during your week are taking you up in intensity and outside of that fat burning zone and more into the aerobic capacity zone where you're huffing and puffing and really trying to push yourself. When you push yourself, getting outside of your comfort zone, that is where you build fitness. And finally, bad take number 5 that I've heard personal trainers say, and even doctors, is that if something in particular hurts, let's say you have a bad knee or a bad back, you should just stop doing exercises, especially exercises that affect those things. So if you have a bad knee, you should never run again. Or if you have a bad back, you should never run again. You should never deadlift again. Anything that could put stress on that back. Now, I am actually coming from someone with a lot of experience on this, because when I was 15 years old was the first time that I pulled my back out. So I have 2 herniated discs in my lower back. And at 15, the doctors told me that I should not run, and they told me that I should never do heavy lifting in my life as a 15-year-old. Now, at the time, it didn't affect me very much because I wasn't on my fitness journey at that time. I was a cheerleader. I hurt myself during cheerleading. And at the time, I was like, cool, I don't have to do this anymore. But as I got older and I wanted to start moving my body more and start my fitness journey, I said, that's kind of bogus. And thankfully, I'm so glad that I did. And I started doing my own research, and I started realizing how the body works and what I could do to help myself to rehab. And so now I'm deadlifting close to 300 pounds. I run, gosh, y'all know I'm a big runner. I love to run, and I've been running for over 20 years now consistently. And so what now you see is that most injuries aren't related to chronic issues. Most of the time, issues can be circled back to poor muscles or muscle imbalances, muscle tightness. So for a lot of us, if you're having lower back issues, instead of just saying, well, guess I just have to sit around all day, that's literally the worst thing that you can do. And if you simply spend some time rolling out, stretching out your hamstrings, your glutes, and even your pec muscles, because with your pec muscles, it can pull your chest forward, which messes with your posture, right? And it could have a huge effect on your back. Then if you start working on those tight areas, then guess what? Things loosen up and you're able to correct your posture if that is an issue, as well as get your life back of moving without back pain. And then the same thing goes with knees. A lot of us are like, I have bad knees. I can't run. I can't do this. I can't go upstairs. Well, if you just take the time to strengthen your quads and roll out your hamstrings and maybe work on your calves. Now, I'm just saying this as a blanket statement because those are the big muscle groups that oftentimes affect the knees. I can't say for sure that that's what's going on with you if you have knee issues, but working on those things can almost instantly relieve knee aches and pains and get you back to running if that's something that you want to do, or back to just living the life that you want to live. No one should have to be sidelined because something like that is aching them when it could be easily fixed, and it all comes down to muscular health versus bone and joint health, which is what we go to, right? We so much want to go like, oh my God, my knee hurts, so I must have a knee problem, where there's our body is one big thing versus segments. So just because your knee is hurting doesn't mean the knee is the issue. Spend some time working on those muscles, working on your movement to see if something particular is tight. Start working on those imbalances and those weaknesses, and boom, pain is gone. Same thing can go with shoulders as well. And if you guys want me to talk a little bit more about rehab and joint issues compared with their muscles and their imbalances and tightnesses, I think that's a word, then we can absolutely do that as a future episode. So those are the 5 bad takes that I have heard personal trainers and doctors tell clients, and it breaks my heart. So if you've heard any of those, I'd love to hear your stories. And if you are hearing any of those from people around you, then you might want to really check into, do they really know what they're doing, and are they going to help you go where you need to get? So I want to finish this off with, I did go to Reddit and I wanted to see what I found a post on what Reddit users had heard before, and just a couple of them were very, very interesting. So I thought that I would share them real quick. So I'm going to read real fast. It says, one person's worst piece of fitness advice that they ever got was to do 2 hours of very high intensity cardio and then lift heavy weights for 1 hour directly after. They were told it's a good gauge of how fit you really are. Yeah, especially when you go and you throw out your back because your body is exhausted from 2 hours of cardio and you're not able to maintain proper form with your strength training. Terrible advice. Do not do it. I am all about concurrent training where you're doing one thing right after the other, but it's wiser to do your strength training first and your cardio after if you're able to do that, or if you can't, at least make sure to space them out with some time to allow your body to recover, especially with your core, because that if your core is exhausted, which it will get from too much cardio, then when you go to do your heavy lifting, your core is going to give out and put you at risk of failure or of injury. And plus, if your body is tired, you're not going to be able to lift optimally to put yourself in that place of, oh, I need to get stronger, right? Because you're not able to get to that part. See, number 2, or the second one that I read, was suffering from patella tendonitis a couple of years ago. So I went to a physio. He stuck a set of electrodes on my knee and told me never to ride a bike again. I'm a cyclist and I do around 20 kilometers, or I do a 20-kilometer race per year or something. I don't know what they're trying to say. But yeah, what I was just talking about was on my own back. So unfortunately, that is just something that is still rampant. We still hear that a lot, and that breaks my heart, because how many people had to stop doing what they love because the doctors told them to, when it was something that could easily be fixed. And I did continue to read that guy's story, and he fixed it very easily and is now back to bike riding. I spent half of an hour reading, that's to continue that one on. There's a difference between a front squat, a back squat. There's no difference. This is the last one that I'll say. There's no difference between a front squat, a back squat, or a leg press. There's a big difference between all of those. The way that your body's positioned, where your center of gravity is. With a front squat, you are holding a weight in front of your body. With a back squat, you're obviously holding it in a back rack position. In the back rack position, your weight is closer to your center of gravity. You're able to keep yourself up more upright as you go down, and you're able to go heavier. It's going to put more load on your actual legs and your glutes. Whereas with the front squat, it is a great exercise. I love front squats. However, with that weight in front of you, it changes your center of gravity. It's going to try to pull you forward. So in order to fight that forward pull, you have to engage your core more than you would with a back squat. And you're not going to be able to go as heavy with a front squat as you would a back squat. So that's something you're going to have less of a load on your lower body, but you're going to have more of a load on your midline and your core. So it comes down to what you have access to with the type of weights that you have and what are your optimal goals. I love front squats for more of a performance benefit, right? Because I'm training that core, I'm trying to build a lot of power. But if it's pure strength that I'm after, I'm going to put a lot of focus more on the back squat. But if you don't have a rack for back squatting, then obviously you're going to focus more on front squats. So there you go. So now it's your turn. What's the bad advice that you've heard over the years? Share your stories. I'd love to know. And if you have questions that you want answers to, ask in the comments or email me, Kindle@fitwomensweekly.com, or even better, slide into my DMs. Kindal Boyle Fitness over on Instagram. And if you guys are not following me, what you waiting for? And then last but not least, if you are ready to work with a personal trainer that will actually help you get the results that you want, but you're still at the beginnings of things, then what I would recommend is my Ignite 30 live training challenge. We go and we do it for 4 weeks every single month, the start of the month. You can sign up. It is limited to the first 50 people that sign up. I will take you through 4 weeks of training with live workouts. I will push you through. I will answer your questions. I will be there to guide you, to help with that motivation that you have to get started and to actually work on discipline to get you to the end. You'll also have quickie challenges and nutrition challenges because we want to make sure that you have all the elements that you need to get the results that you want. So if that's something that you're interested in, I will make sure to put the links down below. And our registration for the next upcoming Ignite Challenge is going to open up within the next week. So definitely keep your eyes out for that. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Talk to you soon.